Dear students, previous video had discussed with the list accessing the list with the positive indexing. So now I'll be explaining how to access the list with the negative accessing. So that is either it can be the positive accessing or the negative accessing, either in the strings or the tuples and the list data type. So how to access the elements by using the negative accessing. So that is negative index. So now as we know, the positive index starts from the 0. So how do I access if I say positive indexing 0? So here you can see the always it starts from the 0, 1 and 2 and 3, which is explained in the previous video. Now if I want to access the elements inside the list with the negative index. So if I say negative index always, so this is a list variable, and then 4, these are the number of elements stored inside the list with a comma separated, and also it can be the heterogeneous elements stored. You can also give any number of data type so to be stored inside the list. Now the question here is how to access the using the negative indexing. So here the my list already which is stored, the element is stored, and now minus 1. So always negative indexing starts from the minus 1. So that is not from the towards your left side but towards the right side. That is we can say from here, that is from the right, from this end right, and the negative indexing is accessed from the list. So we can say here minus 1. So you can remember positive it starts from 0 and negative starts from minus 1 followed with the number of elements. So here the which is the first element, the 2. If I want to access this 2, so I should give the starting negative index from this end will be the minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 and minus 4. Since it is 4 elements are there inside the list, so I can say it is number of elements which will be accessed as 4 by giving the only the position of an element, that is minus 1. So if I say minus 1 here is 2, and then print 6, and then 9 will be the third element, and then fourth element. So if I want to change here also, if the sum of the other elements, so if I say the python itself, so I want to access it. So as it is, I told my list can be stored in the heterogeneous elements, so you can give any number of elements stored inside the list. So now I want to access the python as an element, so that is inside the list. So it will be the position. Now the position of the python will be minus 1. So now it will be minus 1 position will be python, 2 position will be 2, 6 will be the third position, and fourth position. Now if I want to change the thing, the next element to be accessed is same my list, so that is a variable of minus 5. The element has increased, so this now the fourth element is what I got it. So this is how the negative indexing is accessed in Python, and also in the strings it is also the same thing. How do you access the same elements with the brain? Now, as I told this, once it is accessed, the elements are accessed. So now the question here is we can use the concatenation. So as I've explained, the concatenations takes place between the two strings. So you can say here these are the number of list which is already stored inside the variable spam. And now since I'm adding some of the element to be displayed with respect to the negative indexing. So as I've explained in the previous video, so with respect to the positive indexing, how it is accessed when concatenating the string. This is how do I access with the negative indexing concatenating with the string. I just added with the and also concatenating this. Since why I'm concatenating this, because this is the spam of minus 1 is also the string. So remember, so here minus 1 is the position of elephant here. So this will be the string which is concatenating between the element the. Then again after that, once it is converted, that is concatenated, then it is elephant is afraid of the. Then again next element, if I want to give the 3. Now the elephant will be afraid of minus 3, which means the minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. That is a bat. Bat it is in the position of minus 3. So now the concatenated string will, and also if we want to add some of the other like for comma or the full stop, or we can give the exclamatory mark. So all this will be added. And now the question here is, so how it is displayed. The will be the concatenated with -1 the elephant, and is afraid of the string what you are adding it to concatenating with the element, that is -3, and then with the exclamatory mark. So that will be the output will be the elephant is afraid of bat. So you can give also the anything, any other elements, and you can concatenate. So this is where concatenation also with respect to the indexing, that is positive indexing and negative indexing. Now, one more concept here. Till now, you had just directly you were giving to access the elements with the position just single element. Now, if I want to, like, the question here is, if I want to access only from here till I don't want it just the elephant. How do I access the two, especially the range? I'm giving from this range to this range I want to display, but not the elephant. Or if I want to display only these three, but I don't want it to display the cat. So how do I access? So that is what you call it as a in Python, that is a slicing. So that is Python slicing you call it as. So that is, for example, you can do with the any of the elements, so either the integer, floating point, or the string, anything you can access by giving the Python slicing with the range function. So now the slicing operator always what you call it as is a colon. So colon will be the slicing operator. So for the slicing with between the ranges. So that is where from where I need to start and from where I need to stop. So that is where the condition slicing always it is. A condition here is a start and also the stop here. So that is inside the one close braces. So that is where I want to say here. And one more main thing here is while accessing with the range function. So for example, if I say 10 to 50 elements are there, now I'm accessing from the starts. I need to start from 1, that is a position 1, and also I need to end with the position 4. So that means, so always remember its position will be starts from the particular element, that is 1, which means now the 0 is 10. So as I told, its indexing starts from 0. So it is 0 is 10, 1 is 20, and 2 is 30, and 3 is 40, and 4 is 50. Now you can observe it starts from, it is starting from the 0 element, sorry, first element 20, and also second element is also display 30, and third element is displayed, but fourth element it is not displaying. Why? Because when it is displaying or when the slicing happens in Python, it starts from the particular element but stop at the one excluding element whatever you have given. Say for example the fourth element, which is the fourth element now, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, which means fourth element is discarded, and rest of the element where it starts from, it is one it starts from, it is displayed. Now if I say I want to just give the third element, which means the third element is excluded, only the two element is given. So that is where it is 20 and 30. So that it starts from 1 and starts from, sorry, ends with 2 but not the 3, excluding third element. So that is where it is. Now if I want to give the one more element, and the string is also fine. So that is, now I need to display with the one more element, percent data lines. So this is also one question. So here now I want to display till Python but not the data set. So what is the position? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements are there. So if I just give the 5 elements or the sixth element, so if I give, so it will be there. So now the question here is the data science is not displayed because sixth element is excluding, and then only the 5 elements is displayed. So that is where the start and stop in all the cases you will be, but last element which is not displayed is excluded. So that is the slicing operator. Always it is a start and then stop. So simple example also you can take here. So how it is starts, many cases are there in the start and stop. So you can see. So here, so same example it will be explain since I'm giving start and stop 1, 2, 4, 5. So you can get confused. So I'm making it as a 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 as an element. Now if I say starts from 1 to 5, so it starts from first element that is 20, but not fifth element. So it will be 20, 30, 40 and 50, not the 60. And also you can give, so it is a condition, you can see the start is not mentioned here, which means the start is mentioned by default it starts from the beginning, that is 10, but not the fifth element, excluding fifth element. So that is where you can get the output fifth element excluding the fifth element. Okay, this would be the old output. So here excluding the fifth element, that is 60 is excluded fifth element and starts from the beginning. So that is where here it is condition here is fifth element it is excluded, and then from the fifth element, which is now you can say here what is it from the fifth element, which is a 4. I've given the starts from 4, so exactly 4 means it will be the fifth element when I count it. So not the 4 means a 0 1 2 3 4, that is if I say from 1 2 3 element, fourth, that is a fifth element it will be, but always starts from 0. So you can say it is a fourth element. So if I say from the starts from the fourth, and if I don't give the element as an end, so which is top is not given, so by default it will give all the elements. So that is, but it starts from 4. So 0 1 2 3 and 4. So that is 50 and 60 will be the output. So then, so now if I say with the negative, so these all the things which is with the positive, and if I want with the negative to be sliced. So that is, we know negative always starts from the towards our right. So that is where we can say minus 2. So minus 1, minus 2, which means starts from the beginning 0 but ends with minus 2. That is not exactly also minus 2. So that is minus 2, it should not end. So it should end with particular element. So that is, say for example minus 2 here. So starting from all the elements, that is we can say 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50, 60 is not there. Minus 1 and minus 2. So 50, it is a minus 2 step, and the minus 1 is 60. So minus 2 I have given, so which is minus 2 is excluded, that is these 2 is excluded, and 10, 20, 30, 40 will be output, because starts from beginning but minus 2 is excluded, till minus 2 is excluded. So if I give a minus 1 here, so make it as minus 1. So say for example, let me give the same thing. So if I give minus 1 here, so see here the minus 1 is excluded, that is only starts from the beginning, it is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So which will be the minus 1 will be excluded. So this is how with the positive indexing and the negative indexing. Now, so that is the start and stops. Start and stop. Now there is a one more thing where you can see start as well as the stop as well as the number of step. So you can see the condition here is a start, and then it is a stop, and then step size, so that we call it as a step size. So these are the three. So before we are just going with the start and the stop, but here it is start, stop and step. So you can see the elements here, so I can make it as a 10, so it will be how confusing for you all. So it is 40, 50, 60, 80, 80, 90, 100, 110 something. So if I say now, so this is the one which already I've discussed in the previous thing. So that is 1 to 9 starts from first, and but not the ninth element. So you can say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but 90. So which means 100 has to be excluded. So you can see only the 90 elements it is, we got it. Now we go with the steps. What is that step size? So start and stop, we know it is from where it starts and where it stops, but step size here is which with the elements have to be skipped, number of times the elements have to be skipped. So now if I say starts from 1 and stop till 10 element but not the exactly the 10 and the but skip, which means step size is 2, which means the step size 2 means exactly the alternative will be the only the one step. So one step which is already only one step it is skipped but not the 2 here. So if I say starts from 1, so it is starting from 1, that is 20, and it should stop where the when it the element comes to the 10th elements, but not the 10, but it should be the 10 here. So first element and also step sizes given as 2, which means exactly 2, it is the opposite of the 2 means it is have to be skipped, one element have to be skipped, that is a 30 is skipped and 40 is displaying, and 50 is skipped again one, 60 is displaying, and 70 is skipped and it is 80 is displaying, and 90 is skipped, 100 is displaying. You can see it stops at 100, it is not going for 110 because you can see which position it is stopping. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So there it is. If I go for the 10th, which means the 10th element have to be excluded. So that is where 10th element it is not displaying. Only it stops at ninth element. If I go for the 10th, it should be excluded, but not the 10th element. Even in stop also, right? Ninth element means ninth is excluded. So it is where 10 is excluded and only the 100 is displaying. So even now if I say the step size of 3, so what happens, step size of 3 means exactly it is we can give a element as a step size to be skipped two times. 3 means it is alternatively it is two times it is skipped, and 2 means it is one time. So for example if I say starts from 1, so it's starting from 1, that is 20, and then 2 times, which means 3 have given step size, so 2 elements have to be skipped, 30 and 40, and then 50 is displaying, and 60 and 70 it is 80 is displaying. And also if I skipped 2 elements, then it will be not stopping at 9, so it will be more than above the 9, if it will be stopping, so that is where 9 it has to be stopped. So exactly 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So where it is stopped here. If I go with the next element, again 110 has to be displayed, but stop size I've given here is 9. So only the till here 90. So just skip. So this is where start, stop, and step size will be displayed.